Success and disappointment are almost two sides of the same coin when you are a loner. While most people will celebrate success, they'll have people to talk to about it, things to reward themselves with, I find I don't really have these things. This is a follow-on video from the recent disappointment video I posted, because recently I've had some very disappointing news. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, well, it looks like my suspicions were correct. My organisation, with their outstanding customer service skills, had delayed giving us the results for the selection process of the internal training course for a couple of days, and now we finally have them. Of course, I was wrong about the outcome. I was absolutely convinced there was no way, when they eventually let us know, that I would be successful. But with this news, I thought I'd put together a quick video about my thoughts on this whole process and what happens now, and my thoughts on success as a loner. Now, a few things have to change quickly, unfortunately, and that is, I probably should change the thumbnail of my previous video, and I'm going to have to actually come up with a plan now, because I discussed the concept of vlogging perhaps, or at least making some sort of content based around this apprenticeship if I was successful, and now it turns out I am successful, so oh no, I might have to actually start delivering on some of the things I was talking about. But if I give it some thought, now that I think about the whole process, the application process itself, in some way I feel as though, how could I not have succeeded? I knew there was about a 25% chance of getting onto this apprenticeship course, and while I didn't think I was the target audience, I was aware of the caliber of applicants that I was against in this process, and that is middle-aged office workers. Now, if ever you've worked in a large corporation or a large company, you'll recognise this in some people. A lot of people, particularly in the millennial cohort, so people of my age, once they've got their job, they feel as though they've finished their education and that's it. Any success that the company has is now their success, and they feel almost as if they deserve to, be rewarded with the company's success or something along those lines. If something's available, they should get it, and it should only be something they have to consider or work on in their work hours, because, and I've seen this in every single one of my colleagues, their work time is their work time, and their leisure time is the time for them to do leisure activities. The concept of trying to work on something outside of work that might benefit you in some way is completely alien to them. And it's a real shame, and it's actually not something I see in younger people. Younger people, like the Zoomers and such, the very few that I've ever interacted with in my life, I can definitely count them on one hand how many of these young people I've spoken to. They seem to be real go-getters in some respect. They will consider doing things outside of work, but not the millennial colleagues I work with. But yeah, what I'm saying is that they would just put the minimum amount of effort into these applications and just expect to have been successful, just by virtue of the fact that they might have been at the company for a few years, that sort of thing. I put an enormous amount of effort into my application, so much so that I thought that I would be unsuccessful due to the fact that I seemed a bit too qualified, or at least a bit too wise as to what the course was going to be about. But I'm not really sure what to do now. I wasn't expecting to be successful, and like I said, I have to start considering the promises I made to myself, the promises to get through the course material and make loads of videos in this new spare time that I might find myself with, that I will find myself with in the workplace, as it'll be one day work from home in order to complete the course. And that means I might have to actually invest some money in some camera equipment, since all I have is my phone at the moment. And I wanted to do an in-person vlog if I was confident enough to do this by the time the course starts, which is in about a month's time now, a bit less than a month, so just after Easter. But yeah, I'm not sure how to deal with success. It's such a rare thing I experience in my life. Now, my life isn't so pathetic that I've not experienced any success, and I'll just go through a few examples of things that I suppose I'm proud of in some way, And I wouldn't say they're all the same caliber, so in the sense that it's not like I'm always competing against other people in order to find this success, and that's how I'm looking at this application. But I've got my driving license. There's all the times I got into university throughout my life, all 3 times. The 3rd time, in fact, my postgraduate degree, I got in on a scholarship where they paid me for my university fees and my accommodation. That was pretty good. I got my job, and that was probably the most successful thing I've ever accomplished, in the sense that I'm working in my field and I'm fairly happy with my work, fairly happy with my job. I get paid well enough. I've got my good pension. The thing I keep banging on about. The thing that's keeping me trapped in this job almost, as nowhere else really offers as good a pension and work-life balance in my field. And I suppose buying my house as well. Like, at the time, it felt in some way like a success. Well, I suppose it is, being able to go from having no money to buying your own house as a single person. But it was also unbelievably stressful, I will tell you that. Owning a house is very different from renting. That's my old person advice of the video. But how have I dealt with success in the past, and how will I deal with it going forward? Well, as I started this video saying, experiencing success and disappointment is kind of the same for me in terms of what happens next. So, in the past, I would almost certainly have just given in to my vices. So that's drinking some more, drinking a lot, treating myself with some kind of fast food like Pizza Hut or Five Guys, something along those lines. We have all these chains in the UK and all these American fast food chains, and while they're very good and very tempting, they made me put on a lot of weight last year. I've never tried any drugs though. That's one thing it's never entered my mind to even consider trying it. I've never smoked, tried any illegal drugs, although I understand that unfortunately they're becoming more common amongst younger people in the UK. But now I don't know what to do anymore. I don't drink anymore. I'm not really that interested in buying anything, or like fast food, for example, these days. I'm not interested anymore. I'm trying to lose the weight. In fact, all I can really think about now when something good happens is trying to make a video about it, and that's where I am now. So yeah, this was a bit of a short one, a bit of a nonsensical one in some respects, but I'm looking forward to see where all this goes and where I end up with this apprenticeship. Am I able to create something from it? Whatever happens though, I hope I continue posting on this channel, because it's almost my outlet for ideas I've got in my mind, my opportunity to practice speaking, of course, and I've learned a lot from it. But thank you for listening, and I will be back to my slightly more on-topic topics in the next video.